All right, guys, I spoke to Freddie and he approved the, which is a savvy decision because we never know what is actually on this original. Was so damaged by whoever did. I spoke to Freddie. He said, "No, I got the car like that, and I don't know exactly what happened." It said that it's been in 6 shops for the same problem, and no one has been able to clone or repair this. So we are actually now changing the history for this vehicle. All right, so I already got the information from the original, trying to save time, and this time I'm using the Alientech Kess3. Let me turn this slide off. Sometimes that's too much for the camera. So we have the original computer in here. That's the original module, and this is the donor. They're both the same part number, so he marked it as original, and then that one as donor. I already did the connections, and I read the original file. So I'm going to in Alientech, which is nice. It tells you when the computer is clonable and when it's not. It also gives me the correct identification for the computer. This is indeed 2.0 liters CBPA. In the computer, as you see in the tab, is a Bosch ME17.5.6 and the protocol used by Alientech. That's pretty unique from Alientech, so that protocol is just for them, so it's always ready. So I already, like I said, uh, did the read of the original, so we can now clone. I never do it this way. I actually read and write, but let's see what it does on this button. Choose whatever to read the ECU or load a previously read file. So load, so we're going to upload a previously read file. So let me just see, original files. And in here, we're going to use, because this says MPC, the other one says EPR, and the other one just says this. Connect the ECU to be cloned. This is pretty automated. And we can see, so what it does is it reads the file, and that's when you save the full backup, it asks you to, if you want to save it as a separate file, as I always do in case I just need an EEPROM or just a flash, which Alien calls them maps, which they are, that's exactly what they are. But as you can see, they're now reading or writing. It says reading backup. Sending log files. This is pretty quick. Now it's doing the EEPROM. And the reason they call them micro is because, yes, the flash is inside the microprocessor. And what I usually do too is I use another tool, which is the multiprog, because you can compare files. Alientech doesn't give you that functionality, but I like that from multiprog. You can actually upload the file and see the sectors and compare sector to sector. Same thing as in the EEPROM. I like to usually compare to make sure the V numbers and everything are correct. And this is pretty new on Kess or Alientech. I usually, like I said, I usually just write the flash or the maps and then the EEPROM and I call it a day. Doing it this way is good because they actually um, check the checksums and everything to make sure there is no errors. If it's any CRC errors or so, they fix them and then you get a good working computer. Obviously, it's very important when you're doing a clone because when you're cloning a computer, you don't know if any of the information got corrupted or damaged. So they check all those files and they write it correctly. Hopefully, everything goes well. I guess it's saving the file too. Let me just make a new folder inside here. Maybe let me not in here. I'm going to do it in here. So I got the donor, the original files, and original files from Flex 2, which I try, but Alien is better. So I'm going to do a new folder, and we're going to do um, donor with original, well, donor clone, donor clone it. I need a space in that. I'm going to put that in here, and we're going to put Juno's clone. So I make it easy. Not many full videos like this on the web. So it's not really that long so far. I want to make sure that that button does what it's supposed to. Okay. Now it's actually writing the information. So I was reading the information. Now it's writing the information. Not sure why, because as you saw, I selected the correct information. But that's fine. Either way, I never trust in any software. I do my own checks, and that's what I will show you after to make sure that what is being, read or write into the computer is what I need before I send this back to the customer, right? And this is pretty quick. As long as I know, as soon as I'm going to check Flash and EEPROM, you can do the two checks with the Multiproc software. I like that a lot. Multiproc is actually really good. I could even do this with the Multiproc, but this is a lot better this way because, again, if it's a error on checksum or something, it will be corrected by them. You don't have to do anything. It's done all by Alientech. They've been doing this for many, many years. All right, so they're sending the log and back and forth, all this to their site. And now we'll be writing the EEPROM. Yeah, that's usually pretty quick. And that pretty much is done. Echo cloning complete. All right, so I'm going to leave this open and I'm just going to bring it down. So let me get to the folders. Um, just got too much information in here. That's what I'm bringing you down because I don't want to show too much. All right, so we're going to open Flex, Multiprog, which I already have open. So I'm going to select the folder, which again, I'm sorry, I have to come down in here. All right, so we're going to select the original file first. Uh, oh yes, I have to change something before, and you see, I cannot select any of the files because the extension that um, Alientech puts on them is like MPC and EPR, and that's very unique for them. So let me change that, and I'm going to make a copy So let me just show you in here. That's what I had that folder open. So on the original files, let me erase this new folder so I can, I'm just going to copy the EEPROM. So I'm going to make a copy of the EEPROM. I got in my hands, so Control C, Control B. So that is a copy, and I'm going to do the same thing with MPC, Control C, Control B. So what I'm going to do is, before I change the name, I'm just going to make a copy in here. I'm going to name this EEPROM, and I'm going to make the other one that says MPC Flash. Make sure that you're seeing that I am doing a copy of the original files because you will need those for um, Alientech and you don't want to change them. All right, so I'm going now to change the extension, which is the last digit from EPR to BIN. Yes, I want to do the change, and I'm going to do the same thing on the one I'm naming Flash, and I'm going to name it bin, right? All right, so that is done on the original. I have to go back and do the same thing on the donor clone, right? Oh, I didn't save only one file. All right, so if that is the case, give me 1 second. All right, but since I still got the computer connected, all I'm doing right now is actually reading a full backup and then save it onto that same folder that I name it as backup, sorry, as clone. Because I didn't know what the clone was doing. And I'm not sure, if that was just a log that was saved. But now we have it in here, so we're gonna name it as 14 Jetta clone. Like that, I know the files are done. Yes, and I save it separately. And that's what I was showing you before. All right, we can bring this down, and I have still got to come here. So now we have that file, that folder that says clone and everything. So in here, the only ones that we're going to copy again. So we're going to select Control C, Control B. We're going to select Control C, Control B. Now we have that copy, and we're going to do the same thing with the originals, right? So we're going to rename this one, which is the MPC. We're going to call them Flash, and the one is that EPR. We're going to name it EEPROM, and that's what they are. And now we can change the extension, and we're going to put them as Bean. I got to take the caps off. Yes, I'm sure. And we're going to do the same thing in here. That bin. Okay, now we're ready. Okay, now I can open this in here. I'm gonna open the folder. I gotta go back to find it. So give me just 1 second because I'm in another place. Again, I'm protecting customers' information. I got too many here. All right, so we're gonna start with the original files. We're gonna first the flash, and we're going to compare again right here on the tab, right? We're going to compare. And now we're going to go over to the one that says clone, and we're going to open the flash first, right? This should be exactly the same data. Says there is 300 and something differences. And that is not abnormal, especially in a flash from computer to computer, because, and this is very important, when you're doing a clone, right, you are letting Alientech decide if it's an error that can create a checksum error or something to be changed. So we can have those. So I'm going to, for now, let's stick with that. All right, so let's open the EEPROM. So we're going to go over to the original files, and we are. So we're going to select the EEPROM. And now we're going to compare to the clone EEPROM. The two files being compared are the same. All right, so this is good. We can see that the EPROMs are exactly the same file, not a problem in there. And this is what I like to compare, because if we read the information from Freddy, and this is where we need to be, all right, so right now both files are the same, but we can see the big number here. So if I select these files up to, I think it's in there, yes. So 3BW 2K, I'm actually reading in here while you guys can read on the screen. So I'm going to starting here, right? So 3BS and Victor W 2K 7A J6 EM 432645. You see, that's the bean. And the bean is in different locations. We can see it right here again and right here again, but both of those EPROMs are exactly the same. So there's two things we can do here. I can just leave this as is and have those small differences, because I mean we're talking about if we see the folder, there is 2048 kilobytes of data on the flash. Or if you want to, because I can do pretty much anything I want in here, right? So I can go into Alientech, which I have this computer connected, and I can now write. Um, like if I want to write the microprocessor, I can come in here, and that's why it's very important to have everything marked as original files and everything. So I'm going to then select in here the MPC. This is the original files, and I'm going to that. Attention, you also need to select the original file for comparison. If you select a file older than the original one, the problems might occur. See, this is very different, or very different from the flex. So we just selected the one we want to write. Now we need to go over to the, um, in this case, clone, because we cannot go back to the donor because that no longer is here. Now we need to do donor clone and then select the one that says MPC. And that's why I keep those marked like that, because when we're here, we can see all the beans and everything. Now that's when we're selecting the other way, but we need to select the MPCs. I like to do these videos and these sets in here so people that are using these softwares and tools can utilize it better. I've been doing this for over 30 years, so believe me, I know exactly what I'm doing. Even if it gets damaged, I will make it work. That is not a problem. But there is a lot of people that is starting to do this flashing and cloning and stuff like that. They feel this as a taboo, and it's very hard, to do. It's not really that hard. All you really need to do is connect the computer, get the software, and make sure that you're selecting the correct information. The problem lies when you have a computer that has a problem and then you don't know what to do. That's where is a problem. But there is actually boot modes and everything. You can open the computers and do it. The easiest way right now, OBD, onboard diagnostics. For those that doesn't know what OBD means, that's the three letters. That's what it means. Then you have bench mode, which is what we're doing, right? Connected on the bench to the computer. And then there is also boot mode. Boot mode is when you open the computer and you solder wires, or you use other tools like this, a BDM, um, uh, I don't know, fixture, and you have needles that can go through, and you don't need to actually solder wires. All right, so that is the third way. All right, so everything in here, I'm a little back just because not really necessary to be seeing everything. Written successfully complete. ECU disconnection in progress. Operation complete. All right, so let's do now one more time the read. We're going to bring this down. Now we're going to open here again, open a file. We're going to, well, I have to do one thing before I do this in here, which is, I'm gonna have to read the file again, right? All right, I need to then, in order to do exactly what we just did before to compare, I'm gonna have to read a full backup. So let me again, I'm just now doing a full backup, a second full backup, and then we go and do the same thing that I show you about doing a copy and then compare the donor, I mean the original to the donor clone. All right, so I'm going to erase, not to erase, I'm actually going to do another folder. Let me do this with you guys in here. I'm gonna make a completely new folder, and we're gonna name this one donor clone 2. Like that, we have a completely different folder that we can save these to. And this is, as you can see, it's pretty quick. So that's what I don't mind to show as much as I can about all this information. Um, you see, it's already read the microprocessor, and it's now doing the EEPROM, which is like super fast. And then we also will find out if it's something that Alientech is changing when it reads the file and it puts it back, because this is the original, should be no change. The EEPROM is not being changed, so that is good. And we know that the uh, bin number and all the information stored in the EEPROM is the same. Yeah, I think I'm going to just hold you guys in here. This is going really quickly. It's already disconnecting the ECM, which is good. All right, so we're gonna now save this into the donor clone 2, and we're gonna name it as donor um, clone 2, and that we will have a different file name, and it's gonna ask me to save it separately. Yes. Now we can bring this down. We're gonna open the file in here. Now we're here in donor clone 2. We're gonna do the same thing on the MPC, Control C, Control B, and we're gonna do the same thing on the EEPROM. We really don't need, because we didn't do nothing. So let's just check the flash. We already know that the EEPROM is good. So we're gonna name this flash, and we're gonna change the extension as bin. Yes. All right. So we're gonna bring this down. We're gonna open these again, and we're gonna do the same thing from scratch. So we are in the originals, but I'm in the original folder, right? So original folder, we're gonna select the flash, and we're gonna compare right here, compare. We're gonna go into donor 2, and then compare the flash. All right? The two files being compared are the same. You see, this is sometimes what I like to do it this way, because you know what, is better. We saw that the MPC, that's how Alientech names it, is just a flash. It's nothing different than that. And the APR is EEPROM, so you can rename it and you can use it for order tools like in here. If I would be to use this multiprobe, and this is, since we are here, let me just do device. That's how you do here. So we're going to all, well, we are in here in BMW, because I think that's the last that I use. So this will be, let's go over the tab, because it's not alphabetical order. Sometimes it's just weird. I don't know what they do. It looks like it's alphabetical, but we'll see. So we got to go into VW. Yeah, that's at the end. So this is going to be all the VWs, but if we click in here, we can go into Jetta. We have the Jetta here. Another Jetta, okay, the M1756 Bosch. It says, you see, it says that the internal EEPROM is 64 kilobytes and the internal flash is 2 megabytes. So if we click in here, this will also, because this is very good, tells me how to connect. So you can click in here, and that tells me the connection. So you see, this is exactly the same connection. So we have CAN low, CAN high, so CAN high, CAN low. Um, ignition, power, ground, and then the GTP1 and GTP2, which, as you see here, they name it pulse width modulated signal 1 and pulse width modulated signal 2. So as you see, Multiproc will be able to do the exactly same thing. The reason I'm using Alientech or Flex is because there is a lot of tools that are still not available with Multiproc, but you can do it. So I'm trying to show all you can do with different tools. I hope that you guys like what I'm trying to do here because I'm trying to help as much people that wants to do something different on their life anywhere in the world. So yes, this will be exactly the same computer. There is no protocols. You don't need to Alien Tech. If the protocols is not correct, it will not let you read it. So I see a lot more potential, and I wish Alien Tech will give you all these extra tools, which are really necessary to have. But they try to keep too much of the information their own. Uh, I'm sorry, but if you don't do it, I can do it with somebody else. They should give you all this checksum check and compare and replace because in here then I can change my own big numbers. I don't have to let them do it. And this is what they try to do with the software and bring the files up and the files down as they're doing the change because before KTAC it used to be a little more user friendly. Now they're trying to keep all online because they want to keep in control so you don't learn and you are just doing this copy paste. Now I know what I'm doing. I need to understand what I'm doing because when there is a problem, I don't need to call anybody. I know how to fix it. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Freddie, thank you so much for trusting my Salazar Diagnostics. Anywhere in there, you got a computer that you need to repair, or again, if it's not possible to repair, then I can clone it. If you want to have an extra computer for your car just in case it fails and you're not downtime, right? Because when you have a backup like this, something happened to the original, just get the other one out, put this one on, and you keep going. You have no downtime. So this is very smart from Freddy to do. All right, guys, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye bye.